What's going on, people? Talking back again with another video, and today, um, this is my Undertaker tribute. So I'm just basically just going to talk about my favorite Undertaker moments and my favorite feuds of Undertaker and matches, characters, and stuff like that. So let's talk about the background of the Undertaker. Mark Calloway himself. He started in the territories, NWA, AWA. He was in WCW for a while with Paul Heyman, and then he finally he got signed to the WWF. He made that leap of faith. He went to the WWF, went to New York, and at the time in 1990, a lot of people, characters back then were um, Beaver, like Beaver Cleaver, and um, you had you still had Hogan. He was a top guy and stuff like that. But you still had all like the Godwins would come in like much few years later. But the one guy that would always be consistent and would never even leave Vince, the most loyal guy that Vince has ever had in his company. When all the guys, well, probably Triple H and Shawn Michaels to an extent, um, who never jumped ship. Remember, um, Taker never went to WCW again after he was the Undertaker because unlike Carl Nash, Mr. Perfect, and Hogan, and all the other guys that went to WCW, and even Bret, Taker stayed loyal. He was there to even usher in that the next generation was his era, and then the Attitude Era is where he really came along as a star. And he was always giving back to the business. If he was putting over Austin or putting over Rock, even though they didn't face it over that much, but especially Austin. Or if it was his legendary feud with Mick Foley and getting the Mankind gimmick over, or getting Kane over, which was the biggest part of his career. Um, and then you go to the Bruce Aggression era where he had some great feuds with the likes of Edge. He actually put Jeff Hardy on the map and stuff like that. And he's always putting people over. I know a lot of people in wrestling business and there's politics going around. A lot of people like Hogan and all these guys. Oh, I'm gonna bury him, brother, oh brother. Um, Taker would actually put guys over, and then that's something that in today's wrestling you don't normally see with a top guy, and that's how given he was. And just talk about the Undertaker character in general. Like this was a guy that came in the era of Beaver Cleaver. He surpassed the Beaver Cleavers and all the other goofy characters from back in the day. Gobbly Gooper and all these other fucking characters we had in the 90s, early 90s. Like, what? Um, defined the WWF at the time was all these goofy characters, and then obviously he translated that from the zombie characters he had in 1993 to the dead man he had in 1997 to like 2001 when he was the American Badass. And even when he was adapting to those different characters, like he was even, like he was humanizing himself when he was the badass, like he was doing interviews and stuff like that, and he was actually slowly, but he would always not go overboard with the character and not come out of character completely like most of the wrestlers would. He would still try to keep some kayfabe and still try to protect the business, and that's what I really like about the Undertaker. Um, and stuff like that. And then also he had that Brother Life match with Vince McMahon back in '03, and then WrestleMania 20. So I'm jumping back and forth with some of these memories and stuff like that. Um, WrestleMania 20, he comes back with Paul Bearer comes back. He's oh, I couldn't do a Paul Bearer impression. I'm sorry about that. And basically, he brings back the Dead Man. MSG erupts. It was the old MSG when the MSG was actually where the fans was. You can walk in where the fans was, not the new MSG set they have now. But back then, he faces Kane. Um, and the crowd erupted. Yes, they was a bit older now, Kane and Undertaker, and the match at WrestleMania 14 was a lot better, in my opinion, out of the two because obviously there was younger back then and stuff like that, but it was still a great moment to see Undertaker back, especially doing the whole Dead Man gimmick. And obviously he's other feuds like later in his career, like having magnificent matches with Shawn Michaels back to back years. Him and God again, Triple H, 27 and 28. going at it back to back years, and Triple H trying to end the streak. And let's talk about streak in general, like a streak, a legendary streak, which in my opinion should it have been ended, maybe not. Whatever, should he have kept the streak and stayed retired? Maybe so, because maybe that's something that nobody ever done. Nobody's ever Taker can say then that no one's ever defeated him at WrestleMania because he's got a streak. And every year, especially I think after when he came back at WrestleMania 20, he was getting better opponents. Like he had Kane at 14, and then he had Boss Man at 15, which was like whatever. But 18, 17, sorry, he had Triple H again. At 17 the first time, and then you have Flair, which I thought that Flair and Taker match was good. Not many people say. I don't think not many people rated that much, but I actually rated that Flair and Taker match. And like Flair really rates that match as well. He actually said that actually helped his career because he's going to retire at that point. But anyway, this is about Taker. And then like he had the matches with CM Punk. That one at 20, was it 29 he had? That was great. Obviously the two we had with Charlotte's 25, 26. 26 I think was better. Um, but yeah, and obviously even the Brock Lesnar match, not the one last week, but the one in Hell in a Cell, stuff like that, just awesome stuff. And to keep himself so fresh, like not many people in today's wrestling can keep themselves fresh and relevant, and keep themselves like there's an aura about the Undertaker. When the music hits, it's Undertaker. It's a big type feel. Not many people in the wrestling business can do that. Hogan's one of them. I know all the shit that Hogan gets. Personally, with his life, I'm talking about professionally. Hulk Hogan is the best at working a crowd. I said that before. Eddie Guerrero was one of them as well. Taker is another one. Rock and Austin. And Flair to an extent as well as a heel. And that's how great he was. And I'm just glad that he's finally retired now, and you know, can he's done everything he can. Like he's been a multi-time world champion. He's been a tag team champion. He's feuded with his kayfabe brother Kane, and yeah, he's done everything in wrestling business. And maybe not next year, probably the year after, because we're still going to induct the 2020 Hall of Famers from this year in the Hall of Fame, but maybe in the class of 2020, I think Undertaker will get inducted into that. Will be the headliner of the Hall of Fame. Gotta be no questions asked. But yeah, this is a quick video on my tribute to Taker and what he means to me as a wrestling fan. So leave your thoughts, guys, in the comments, and I'll check you guys later.